Hi, my name's Tony Aiello. I live in Elgin, and I was scheduled to be one of the speakers at Wednesday night's city council meeting. I didn't actually get up there because we ran out of the allotted time, but I was one of the people that yelled out at Priggy. I guess Second City didn't prepare for that one, did it, Prigs? So I'm going to use YouTube and discuss some of the points that I was going to speak to that night. You know, in the 70s, it was German Shepherds. Our parents warned us as kids to stay away from them. They could kill you. You never knew how well they were trained. There were all sorts of stories. They were the killer dog. In the 80s, it became the Doberman Pinscher, and this was helped by TV shows and movies. The Pinscher was always seen guarding the warehouse full of stolen cars or the junkyard. In the 90s came the killer Rottweiler scare, and now we have pit bulls. It's well known that each of these breeds has been favored by irresponsible owners throughout the decades. Criminals looking for a status symbol try to find the meanest dog they can. I believe the next one will be called the Presa Canario, which no one had ever heard of in 2001 until two of them mauled and killed Diane Whipple in San Francisco. The current version, the current American version of the breed can reach 140 pounds. And the musculature on that dog makes a pit bull look like the kid that gets sand kicked in his face at the back of comic books. You know, it's undisputed that many cities and towns are across the United States trying to regulate and ban the breed of pit bull. This is called breed-specific legislation. It's wrong for several reasons. One is that it's impossible to say that every member of a breed will behave in exactly the same way 100% of the time. If you can't show that, then you are really bending Article 14 of the Constitution, which protects personal property and guarantees due process. If you can't show due process and equal protection under the law, you're breaking a federal law, which overrules the pathetic home rule legislation that many cities now are trying to hide behind. Another is that a simple search on Google for breed-specific legislation studies will inundate you with an enormous number of reports that have been done after these sorts of laws are passed. And the overwhelming conclusion is that breed-specific legislation simply doesn't work. It does not reduce the number of dog attacks, and it does not reduce the breed population in any cities where these laws have been enacted. The third reason, or at least the third reason I'm going to talk about, is probably the simplest reason, and I've seen it remarked on at the Daily Herald in the comments section, but there is no single breed that makes up pit bull. The term pit bull is made up actually of four breeds: the American Pit Bull Terrier, Staffordshire Terrier, Bull Terrier, and Staffordshire Bull Terrier. In addition, there are so many other breeds that resemble those four in some way that the number of reported attacks by pit bulls cannot be reliably confirmed. This is one of the reasons why the CDC stopped keeping track of dog bites by breed. And the other reason, and probably the most important reason, is that those bite statistics weren't being reported with respect to breed population. For instance, if I tell you that there were 5 golden retriever bites and 10 pit bull bites, that seems pretty compelling. But if there are 50 golden retrievers in town and 200 pit bulls, those statistics take on a completely different characteristic. But that kind of logic takes thought and attention. Even piss-poor research skills will turn up enough studies of pit bulls that show real scientific data about their temperament. The ATTS rates them as having a better demeanor than many common breeds, including the golden retriever. And even though I didn't get to speak that night, I did distribute a packet which contained a study done by 2 German PhDs, but there have been studies commissioned by all sorts of people: Australia, the UK, France. All of them come to the same conclusion, that there is no more inherent aggression in the breeds that make up pit bulls than in any other breed of dog. There may be a legal precedent that the Elgin City Council of Doom hides behind to pass this ordinance, but how many of the judges and lawyers in those cases are canine behaviorists? Presenting the right evidence in court can get you acquitted of murder. Hey, look, I liked OJ too until he murdered someone and was able to escape the legal ramifications because of a poorly handled prosecution. So the city manager and the mayor may be comfortable hiding behind the rulings of certain cases, but that doesn't mean that these legal opinions have anything to do with scientifically researched fact. You know, as a quick sidebar here, has anyone ever noticed at least has anyone else noticed, that every time it's time for the public to speak at a city council meeting, suddenly the city manager comes up with all this little busy work to do? Does that piss anybody else off? Hey, jag off. We pay your salary. Do your math homework on your own time, okay? And listen while the adults are talking. I'm sorry, Tony. I'm a big douche. We know, city manager, that's okay. The ASPCA has this to say about the effectiveness of breed-specific legislation. There is no evidence that breed-specific laws, which are costly and difficult to enforce, make communities safer for people or companion animals. For example, Prince George's County, Maryland spends more than $250,000 annually to enforce its ban on pit bulls. In 2003, a study conducted by the county on the ban's effectiveness noted that, quote, public safety is not improved as a result of the ban, and that there is no transgression committed by owner or animal that is not covered by another non-breed specific portion of the Animal Control Code, i.e. vicious animal, nuisance animal, or leash laws, unquote.